Good morning and good evening to everyone who's listening out there. This is Shootin' the Breeze. I am your host, TakersMinion. I'm joined by my friend from the land of the rising sun in Kyoto, Japan, weighing 90 kilos, Master Dr. Senju. Hi, sir.
You actually got my weight correct. That's there.
I just took a shot at it. Yeah, you know.
You got my weight correct. Yes, I am 90 kilos. Technically, that means I'm about 100 plus pounds.
Almost 200.
Almost 200 pounds. So there's that.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes.
Speaking of weight, real quick, I've lost 12 pounds according to my doctor.
Wow! Congratulations.
Good. I'm no longer 200 pounds. Thank God. Anyway, how are you, Kaiser?
I'm good, thanks. Was a busy week. I didn't get a chance to go into the nightly as much as I wanted to, so that's that.
No, you came into one night though that we had a very special appearance by someone.
Well, yeah,
Ambrose Alley. Ambrose Alley. Shout out to you, young lady, for showing up. It was nice to see you there that night.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty surprising, actually, to see someone as infamous as her from the daily coming into the nightly just to take a peek. That's good.
Yes, and let's start out on a bit of a happy note. Yesterday was 14 Fitzpatrick's birthday, so happy birthday to you, sir.
Shout out goes to 14 Fitzpatrick, also known as William Fitzpatrick, to some of you for his 26th birthday. 26?
26, yes, he's half my age.
Okay, he's 3 years younger than I do, so
Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, may you have a prosperous life, may you have a fruitous life, and may your adventures and misadventures be as interesting as your busy, wacky world of wrestling. So
yes, there is that. And now on to the sad news. Saturday, the wrestling community lost one of its greatest performers ever.
Quite possibly.
No, not quite possibly. He is. He is the template of managers. He was an innovator in color commentary. He was a great man. I knew him first when he was wrestling in Chicago as Pretty Boy. He later became known as the Brain, and that is Bobby the Brain Heenan. Our thoughts and prayers and good wishes go out to his family. Cindy, our condolences to you on the loss of your husband. We know he's been sick for a long time and he's had a lot of issues. But he's in a better place now, I would believe, and he's working with his best friend from wrestling, and that's Gorilla Monsoon, calling Heaven's Wrestling Federation matches.
Yes.
And boy, is he getting to see some great matches.
Totally agree.
Bobby, we love you. We're going to miss you. Godspeed, my friend.
Yes. I mean, it's jarring that we actually have to start on a somber note like that because we lost Bobby Heenan. Just as last week you brought about the passing of Otto Wanz. We are fast losing people left, right, and center, actually.
Yeah, you look at the last few years. That started in 2015, I think, with the passing of Roddy Piper.
Yep.
A great performer. A couple months later, we lost Dusty Rhodes. We've lost Maurice Mad Dog Vachon. And now we lose Bobby.
So a lot of good men there.
Yeah, these are people that I grew up watching as a kid. And, I did some research, and Ox Baker passed away a few years back. A lot of great wrestlers have passed. And to all of them, they're all missed because they all had they each had their own niche of what they did and how they did it. And, it's a sad day when one of them leaves us because so much history leaves with them.
I mean, it's hard. It's just speechless doing this again. We're talking about deaths and passing away. So just as much as we talked about a lot of, how to say this, we have a lot of soldiering on. We have a lot of picking up back again after a loss, because
Yes.
people from who suffered from Hurricane Irma are still trying to pick their lives back up again.
Yeah,
And then there's the earthquake, and then there's the earthquake report on Mexico.
yeah. We've had Harvey in Houston, Irma in Florida, the earthquake Tuesday,
Mexico,
in Mexico, and then the death of Bobby on Saturday.
And then there's Puerto Rico's hurricane, Hurricane Maria, I think. What was the name? Is it
Maria? Yes. Then we had Maria, which hit Puerto Rico after Irma hit them, so they got double whammy. You know, it's just been a rough month. Period.
It has been a rough month period, because there's challenges, there's things we need to take hold of, and then just see it through, and then picking up the pieces back again, picking up our lives back again after all the natural disasters and devastation that occurred, as well as people passing away, such as Bobby Heenan and Otto Wanz, just to name a few. I mean, it puts a lot of us into perspective, into thinking that, well, our lives are short, so
yeah, life is short. We don't, you know, and Charlotte said it best Tuesday night, that you have to make each moment in your life meaningful and worth something.
Yep.
With talking about her dad and what he's gone through. I mean, there for a while, we thought, you know, the community thought we were going to lose Rick. That's going to be a hard day when he does go.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough, especially for Charlotte.
Yeah, a man who, throughout his career, other than the broken back that he suffered in the plane crash, was never injured, never sick, never missed a date, a shot that they call him, throughout his entire career.
I mean,
almost 40 years of wrestling, and he never missed a shot.
Yes.
Other than when he was injured in the plane crash. And we don't even count that, because that was not an in-ring injury.
Sure. I mean,
I think his lifestyle caught up with him, though.
Yeah, because I mean, okay. I mean, Ric Flair did kind of confess that he has drinking problems. He had drinking problems, and that he doesn't. He says it adamantly that he never takes painkillers. He doesn't do drugs, but his vice is always drinking, because that's the easiest thing that anyone can secure with, and that it's the easiest way for him to bond with other wrestlers, by drinking. Going to a bar after a show and then just drink. That's it. And I think that's the lifestyle back then. Aside from taking painkillers just to ease the pain, is the easiest, fastest way to kind of like numb the pain for a while.
Yeah, well, you think about what Heartbreak Kid did with the drugs and the drinking.
Yeah,
it damn near killed him.
It almost did.
Yeah.
I mean, even talking about the past that he has, at least we see that he can admit to the fact that he did something wrong, and he really doesn't want to drink again, based on what the interview he has given. He clearly says that he doesn't want to drink again, and I hope that he could continue on with his life as he sees fit. A lot less bumps, a lot less scares on the road, just living his life to the fullest for now, because he deserves that kind of life now.
Well, isn't Sean working down as a guest trainer at the Performance Center? He's not even being paid for it. He's volunteering his time and going down and helping the kids.
Yep. I mean, not just Sean, not just even Ric Flair. People like Joey Mercury could even say that as well, because he's still training. He's still a trainer, even though he's going to wrestle. He's wrestling. As far as I heard, he actually teamed up back again with Johnny Nitro, or John Morrison, as he was billed on one wrestling show, I think. What was it? the M&M reunited back again. But hey, it's the life of the wrestler. There's a lot of ups. There's a lot of downs.
What I find interesting is that Vince and the WWE is allowing their wrestlers to take independent dates now, something that they never used to do.
Oh, yeah. If you notice now, I mean, yeah. I mean, recently, if we discount the debacle of GFW TNA Impact that we would touch later, Bobby Roode did actually take a few more independent dates to wrap up his stuff before actually officially going to the main roster. So that's one thing. And I do believe that in the case of both Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, they were allowed to run out their contracts. And while they were running out the contracts, they finished up every single thing that they need to finish up in the independents.
Yeah.
So,
and
so yeah.
You know, that started, and I think the what's the word I'm looking for?
We're actually missing a lot of words today.
No, you know, the precedence was set by Samoa Joe.
Ah, yes, okay. The one who actually,
when he first came to NXT, he had several independent dates that were still out there.
Yeah,
and they made exception for him to go finish those up while he was competing in NXT. Same thing they did with Bobby Roode. Same thing they did with Undisputed. You know, same thing they're doing with the women that are on the independent scene that NXT, WWE/NXT have signed. They are allowing all of them to complete their independent dates.
Yes,
which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a step in the right direction because I think in that case, at the same time, WWE is accepting of the fact that yes, we have signed these talents, but they're still able to settle up any loose ends that they have.
Exactly.
Yeah, and any booking that they have set, they're not against the talent finishing it up before they actually jump on board the WWE train. So it's, in a sense, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to see.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's Vince's new way of thinking or it's Triple H's booking, Triple H being handling all this again, but it's a step in the right direction, regardless of who decided that, and on the first place. Who decided the precedence of Samoa Joe? Okay, we signed you, but you can still do independent. You can still finish up your independent dates that you booked. So there's that.
That's that. I can tell you who did that. I'm almost positive that it was Triple H, because he knows how important that is. If anybody, and I mean if anybody in the wrestling business today understands how important finishing up independent dates are, his Trips, because he started on the independents before he went to WCW. He worked in Killer Kowalski's promotion as Terrorizing. So that's how. And so he doesn't. Like I said, when, not if, it's when Vince steps down and Hunter moves into that spot, which is what I believe is going to happen. Even if Shane moves in, Shane understands. Shane and Hunter were probably on the same wavelength, and they'll understand that the talent that comes from the independent scene has to cover itself and finish up their dates that they already committed to.
Yeah.
And did you notice or did you hear that it looks like Lucha Underground is going to die after this season?
Oh yeah, because they're unable to secure another signing of a new contract for the fourth season. So unfortunately, yes.
There's a lot of talent there that could be rated by everybody.
Yeah. But I mean, the biggest question is, who would you want to take in from Lucha Underground? That's my biggest question. Even though you're laughing quite.
You know my number one pick from Lucha Underground. You already know that. Pentagon Dark.
Yes, yes, I know. I mean, okay. Aside from the obvious Pentagon Dark, who would you actually want to see coming up?
Prince Puma wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah, I mean, but again, WWE has had dealings with Ricochet back when they were trying to sign him before he ultimately signed for Lucha Underground, as well as a couple of more independent wrestling promotions. So yeah, I could see Ricochet going in if it's gonna be if, let's say, Lucha Underground unfortunately has to wrap up the third and final season. So,
and what would you do with Dario Cueto?
Oh God, I mean, he's already cemented himself as one heck of a character. Even
He'd
as
be one hell of a general manager, wouldn't he?
He would. He would. He would be an evil heel general manager.
Yeah.
He would be very evil. I mean, in this, not speaking in the same breath as both Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo in a sense, because I think Dario Cueto has a step above those two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to say to all you Eric Bischoff fans or even Vince Russo fans, I think Dario Cueto has a step above this guy. So there's that.
Yes. Interesting bookings here, and don't forget, bring Mil Muertes with his woman manager.
Really?
Would be a great addition to the roster.
I mean, okay. Quick segue, because there's a small question that someone asked us.
Yes. Crazy Chris asked us what our opinion is of Lars Sullivan. Insane is mine.
Okay.
I see him as a Brock Lesnar type.
Oh, wow! You're taking 10 steps ahead of me.
No, the reason I'm saying that is that, or even a Braun Strowman.
Okay.
Could you imagine a match between Lars Sullivan and Braun Strowman? Both of them up over 300 pounds.
Yep. And both of them actually work the strongman power moveset.
The power moveset very well.
Yes.
Lars Sullivan, being a big man, is very quick and very light on his feet.
Yes. Here's my lesser notch on it, because I think Brock Lesnar is in a class all on its own. Because you can't really, he's like a once in a generation wrestler. Brock Lesnar is. Yeah. To me, I think Lars Sullivan is in a similar breath as Goldberg in his prime was.
Maybe.
Number one, maybe. And that was close. But in my notes, I wrote, he's an upgraded version of Ryback.
True.
He's a
but the thing about it is he sells bigger. He sells bigger. He sells better than Ryback did.
Yes.
Even No Way Jose was able to get some offense and actually stagger Lars and actually had him down to one knee, which is something you hadn't seen yet.
Nope. No Way Jose did an excellent job of trying to play off against Lars Sullivan, and it shows. He has that kind of mystique. He has that kind of build to it. Because let's be honest again. Lars Sullivan is being booked is being built like the same breath as Braun Strowman was when he was in NXT as Braun Strowman.
Right. So
in a sense as well, I see that the same development path could be taken with Lars Sullivan as well.
Yes.
Because I think Lars has a big future. Has a big future as a strongman type wrestler.
Now, see him as a power. How about this? Right now he's playing the heel and he's playing it beautifully. I just see him eventually turning face and being the big powerful guy who knows he's a big powerful guy and will He just has that look that he has a softer side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can see it.
Agree.
It's there. He has a softer side.
Yes.
And only because he's in that ring and in a combat type sport, quote unquote combat sport,
Mm-hmm.
that he becomes this maniac in the ring.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't
Because
give a
it's
rat's
like
ass about anybody.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, he knows he can actually hurt people and is afraid of it.
Yes, I agree. Because here's the thing. Like I said, he's like how he's built is kind of like a reminiscence of Goldberg when he's built. Because when he steps in the ring, all he thinks about is crushing his opponent. That's it.
Yeah.
And when he leaves, he punches out from that character. I feel that same kind of intensity as Lars Sullivan. He's still green. He still has lots to learn. He still has plenty to learn. But I mean, but we have already seen this kind of argument again with Braun Strowman. He's still new. He's still green, but he looks good. Now look at him now. Now look at Braun Strowman. He's already main eventing No Mercy with Brock Lesnar, and he looks damn good.
Oh God, yes.
So
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that kind of build, that kind of training, that kind of learning experience could be done with Lars Sullivan as well. I look forward to seeing his development. To be honest,
so do I.
That's my answer to it, because he's still green, he's still fresh, but he has the same amount of potential as you would build Braun Strowman, or even Brock Lesnar for that matter. So
yeah,
there's that. But anyways, considering that you have managed to bring us nicely into NXT, let's just talk about NXT then.
Yes.
I mean,
rather interesting week on NXT.
Yeah,
to say the least. We've got to do, something has to be done with Bianca Belair and her freaking hair.
Oh,
that was totally evil. I mean, that sounded like a freaking bullwhip.
Yep, I know.
And I was like, "Holy Christ!"
I mean, here's the thing. We've seen two main competitors in both the fresh and just up and coming Bianca Belair versus I think we can call her a veteran in NXT now, Lacey Evans. And these two showed us a great match. What the future talent, the future crop of women's wrestling in NXT can deliver. And again, Bianca Belair is impressing me with her body of work, with her movesets, with her wrestling skills, even though she's still quite new to to NXT.
Yeah, she's very good.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. At first, I was like, okay, she looks different. So what can she bring? Her first match in the NYC was okay. The second match with her with Kairi Sane was what really drew me in. What really drew me to the character of Bianca Belair and her body of work as a wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, her hitting her finisher and Kairi Sane kicking out, and her selling the shock was. I mean, she's amazing.
Yes,
she's got a lot of upside, a lot.
Yes.
So does Lacey Evans, for that matter.
To me, I think this is the best match that Lacey Evans has had.
Yes, I would agree with that.
During her career in NXT and WWE as a whole, this is her best match. I cannot say her body of work in house shows because I haven't really watched it. I only can see the body of work into which she has portrayed herself on air in the number of times she has. And I do agree. I do believe that this is her best work. This is what she can bring. And these two seems to have very great chemistry because
yes, we'll see. We're going to see hundreds of matches between those two. Yeah, just because they're so good in the ring together.
Yes, and my goodness, that hair whip is a heat magnet in and all of itself.
Yes,
because what can you do? I mean, what can you do? Is that an illegal weapon? No, it's part of a body, so it's legal.
Eventually, they're going to figure out a way to use it against about Bianca Belair. You know this.
Yes, I know. Unfortunately, yes.
I'm waiting for the time she gets into a ring with another heel, and that she hits them with the ponytail, and then they turn around later and use that ponytail to choke her out.
Oh yes, that's one thing. That the other booking that I was it's kind of like a comedic sense, but stakes level match where Bianca will gladly cut her hair off if she loses, and she lost, and the winner cuts off her hair, basically just cut off the cut off the hair whip.
Yeah, cut off the ponytail.
Yeah, that's one other way of kind of making it an entertainment into a gimmick kind of thing. But
yeah, that would be a good Lucha de Apuestas match.
Yeah, exactly. Hair versus hair, or hair versus mask, if you're going to be very classic into the Lucha Apuestas match.
Yep.
But I love her. She's cocky, she's arrogant, she's powerful, and she's bad.
She's a badass. I'll give her that.
She's showing us she's the breakout star from the Mae Young Classic, and she's one of the names that you have to remember. You have to watch in NXT, and I like it that now that.
I think his microphone quit on him. Oh boy. Yeah, well, I guess what he was saying was that she's going to be a breakout star of the year. There you are.
Okay.
What happened there?
Mic malfunctioned a little bit, but okay. Sorry. What was I? Where was I?
We're talking about her being you think she's going to be a breakout, and that was the end of it.
Okay. Like I said, okay, sorry before I was cut off. I don't know what happened there. But okay, she's a breakout star from both the Mae Young Classic, and I am glad that NXT has chosen these two to kind of like showcase the future of NXT. This is what we're going to bring in the women's division. So there's that.
Now, the women's division is in good hands.
Yes. Fortunately, it's in good hands now. So I'm glad with that. I'm okay. I'm down with that 100%. So
and then we had what? Okay. Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano versus Tino Sabatelli, the other half of the Riddick Moss Sabatelli tag team.
Yep.
Where Tino is playing the arrogant, pompous ass heel, and he's doing that beautifully. You know, being overconfident that Johnny Gargano couldn't beat him, blah, blah, blah. You know. I believe Tino Sabatelli's days in NXT are numbered because he's got concussion issues. He's getting better. He's getting better with his in-ring performances. He's much more crisp. He's not missing spots and missing the spots that he was missing earlier in his career, i.e. during Breaking Ground. I mean, Jesus, he looked terrible.
Oh, please don't. Please don't reminisce.
He was an abortion that survived his career back then. My opinion.
Oh, goodness. I mean, okay. Taking that into perspective, comparing both Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss. Riddick Moss is the better wrestler from the pair. He's the Shawn Michaels. Tino Sabatelli is the Marty Jannetty, unfortunately. Not because of his own ability, but just that he's a lot less crisp and he has concussion issues. So some of the wrestlers might have to work around that. So there's that.
Yeah. There's that. They're saying, oh, lightning can't strike twice. Well, he beat Tino Sabatelli with the Gargano escape.
Yes. This time he defeated him with that, with a submission move, actually, rather than beating Riddick Moss clean. And we kind of have a glimpse of a little bit of Johnny Gargano's aggression more. This is no longer him doubting himself whether he can do it or not. This is just him proving to himself that yes, I can do this, and yes, I can be as aggressive as my opponent. So there's that. Because initially Sabatelli was trying to ground Gargano, working the head and the neck, if you notice.
Yeah.
During the first portion of the match. And then carrying forward to the match, Gargano rallied forth and locked him, and the Gargano escaped. So
yeah, well, he had done something, if you notice in the match that Sabatelli was selling a shoulder injury on the left shoulder, which is primary to the Gargano escape.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So that's good storytelling right there. That's good. Yeah. Some good storytelling right there. I mean, the match itself is, I think it's serviceable. Yeah, it's not really bad. It's just serviceable. It's just a way to showcase that Gargano is this. It just proves that.
And we all know they're building to a Gargano Ciampa match.
Yes.
Eventually,
if we have the makings of Ciampa coming back again, which surprisingly we haven't really seen. Even his Twitter feed is kind of like on and off on that one.
Yeah.
So there's that. So that's the biggest question. How would you work Ciampa back in? There's one rumor about how to work Ciampa back in, but I could see that happening. It's just that I don't really believe that Ciampa is one who is going to go with that idea. I haven't heard about that. I'll talk about that just a bit more because it's going to be up in the tail end of NXT discussion as we go along. And finally we have the guy with a lot of tattoos and so little voice and so little talk. Aleister Black actually spoke in this week's NXT.
Yes.
The dark enigma that is Aleister Black returned to the NXT arena
in a suit, no less.
Ooh, in a suit. Exactly, in a suit. And people, I think in my Twitter feed, people, the women were telling, wow, Aleister Black looks hot in that.
I was seeing that too, and I'm like, what? Then I saw him in a suit, and I was like, God, he cleans up nice.
Yep, he does. The former Tommy End, quite famous as a Dutch, as one of the products of Netherlands for wrestling. He's one of them. But hey, I think this is good. I mean, his speech was good. His speech was okay. Just cemented what he's going to do. What happened next, however, was even more interesting, where we see the former Patrick Clark, now known as the Velveteen Dream, actually interrupting Aleister Black. And I love the line that he uses, like the line that Dream asked, the dream doesn't see scars. What I see is a man who's hurt. I see a man who is pain. It is scribbled on your skin. And that to me piqued up the interest a lot more. It's true. Because he just comes out, he just speaks like this, claimed that Black looked afraid, scared to show emotion and of the light, and he ended. And just as it ended, he finishes off with, "I know you have a heart. It's just in the wrong place." And then bang, Black kicked the microphone out of his hand. And then just sits down. And then just sit down.
And Patrick Clark, Velveteen Dream, got down on his knees and leaned forward as if he was going to give him a kiss and then slithered away.
Yep. That scene would make 1995 era Goldust blush.
Yes, it would. And I'm telling you right now, I see a match between those two at TakeOver Houston.
Yep. Actually, I do. I mean, I would agree with you.
It's going to be a barn burner because we know I've watched Patrick Clark when he was, wrestling in Maryland before he did Tough Enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that boy can go.
Yep. I mean, with his, I think with his background as an actual fan of the product, that he goes into the wrestling business, appreciating it as a fan, and then really appreciating it. I think he's just.
Well, he's the only one of that group that was on Tough Enough that woke up in the middle of the night to watch on the network Beast in the East.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That tells you how much of a fan he is of wrestling in general.
And that shows how much of a connoisseur of the wrestling arts that he's allowed to do How much is he willing to give in order to learn as much as he wanted to?
Oh, yes, he is given so much already.
Yep. This is his time.
I don't like his gimmick all that much because it has very, very strong overtones.
Yes, I know. Strong homosexual overtones, but yeah, I think.
And I don't think that's fair to him.
Yeah, but you have to remember that before this, Patrick Clark was trying to push off a character that's not himself. That's not to his taste or to his interest. I think seeing him now as he gets more and more comfortable with this, I think it's fine. I mean, if he can tread the fine line between is this real, between work and a shoot kind of selling in these segments, I think he'll do fine. He'll be the next. He'll be seen as the next Goldust, if all that's worth. If he can do this well, because I mean, this is as good as Velveteen Dream has been at anything since he debuted. Because he was bizarre. He was bizarre. He was unique in a sense, and he actually came up to the ring facing the most feared man on the NXT roster, and he did not back down.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, and he even played mind games with Black. So, I mean,
did he really though?
He did. I mean, okay. Okay, Taker. Here's the thing. You don't say stuff like what I see is a man who's hurt, and blames Aleister Black for being afraid without anything. Sure, I may kind of scare people off a little bit when I say this. Sure, you kind of see a little bit of Bray Wyatt in the Velveteen Dream when he says this, but
yeah, doesn't scare me. I just hope they don't screw it up.
Yeah, because here's the thing: you don't really have this compelling stuff since Bray Wyatt left NXT.
No,
because the stuff that Bray Wyatt does in NXT is more compelling than the stuff he did in the main roster. And I see a similar path of this gonna taking shape with the Velveteen Dream. It's just that this is just the beginning. We'll see what happens. Segment wise, it was excellent to me.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty good.
Segment wise, because to me, I think we'll just have to wait and see what happens with where they wanted to take this. And speaking of your boy earlier on, No Way Jose did face Lars Sullivan, put up a good fight, but lost ultimately to the big guy. So
there's that.
No. But of course, I think the best segment and the best match of the night would be Tyler Bate and Trent Seven versus Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, the formerly known as Redragon, against the two Mustache Mountain. One of them is Mustache Mountain, I believe.
Yes.
I mean, wow. I mean, just wow.
Yeah. Strong, hard hitting. You saw something. You see something like you said in your pre-show meeting. You see something that you don't normally see, and that's both Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish getting the shit kicked out of them.
Yep. Because pulling ourselves out from the match itself, what happened after the segment where both O'Reilly and Fish wiped out all of these men on the stage and tried to bail, chasing the heat by a interruption by Drew McIntyre. Oh, and here's the good segue though. I always speak on air about Drew McIntyre being Drew Galloway and how ashamed I am to be that. Okay, remember Drew McIntyre. But okay, but here's the thing. What happened was that we've seen the appearance of Sanity, and now Sanity has been firmly cemented as faces.
Yes,
which is surprising. Very, very
surprising. That started at TakeOver Brooklyn when Fish, O'Reilly, and Adam Cole dramatic pause for the word that is in your head, but I'm not going to say. I didn't say it. You can't. No fine.
I'm not even. I'm just here. It's a warning.
I know.
The tip jar is right over there.
I know.
Anyway,
they beat them down after they won the match against AOP. So that started the face change.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
and I was like, okay, Drew Galloway. Yeah, you got me saying Drew Galloway. Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
Came to the ring, and the three of them left.
Mm-hmm.
Jumped the railing.
Yep.
And there you got McIntyre laying the belt down, going, "Come on, come on!" You know, trying to call him up, and Adam Cole's running his mouth. You can't really hear what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a hard time reading his lips and seeing what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then from behind that curtain there in that corner, out walks Sanity, and he just stand there. And then, the crowd's going crazy, and all of a sudden Cole feels a presence behind him and turns around, and Sanity just basically rips him apart.
Yep.
But the nice thing I saw, the one thing I saw that it's a subtle thing, is Young threw, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Fish, O'Reilly, or Cole into the ring.
Yeah.
With McIntyre.
Okay. Eric Young sent O'Reilly through a square circle.
And O'Reilly got his ass beat by
McIntyre.
Got knocked back out onto the ring floor. And here came the big guy. I can't think of his name.
Killian Dane.
Killian Dane, who
proceeded
to beat some more shit out of him.
Okay. Not to knock on the match itself. The match itself was was excellent, in my opinion. I mean, Trent Seven and Tyler Bate really showed what they are as as wrestlers. They just showcased how great of a talent they are, and
they showed us British strong style.
Yes, they showed us British strong style at its finest. This is the product of the UK territory, and sure, okay, they're their typically great self. The big news coming off from it was McIntyre and Sanity getting a little bit measure of revenge against the Undisputed era, whichever you want to swing it. Still, Chris Jericho would like to have a word with you guys using undisputed. Anyway, so the part that gets me a little bit surprised and a little bit questionable is that the heels got to be beaten up by the baby faces to round out the show, which was interesting. But again, like I said, they are getting a little bit of measure of revenge on the heels, presenting the trio with their first adversity. Probably facing Sanity, or probably facing Sanity and Drew McIntyre as a whole.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, because another question would be how Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish respond to this kind of threat, where you get the NXT champion uniting against the NXT tag team champion. Going forward, what would that be? How would the Undisputed Era respond? That will make for a compelling question next week for NXT.
Yes, and the thing that'll be, that you and I talked about briefly in the pre-show meeting was, I'm sensing an NWO-ish thing with the Undisputed Era.
Of course. I mean,
the music is similar.
There you go. Yeah, the music is similar.
Like you pointed out, the music is similar.
And they are the outsiders, like we said last week. They are the outsiders coming in and trying to make a statement.
Yeah, they're ROH folk.
Yes. These three are ROH folk. And a little bit surprising that they were being pushed this way, because the last time I remember Cole was getting super kicked by the members of the Bullet Club as he was ejected rather unceremoniously. Yes, it did bring out a giggle in me. So here's that.
Well,
him getting kicked. Okay. Anyway, but it's surprising considering the fact that if you wanted to create a stable with independent stars, wouldn't you consider Roderick Strong to be coming in as one of that?
I could see that.
Yeah.
But now the question is, who is the Undisputed going to try to recruit from NXT?
Well, there's a lot of potential, because I think they're already set on the trio going forward. They already have Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole. Those three can already be just as a stable. I mean, if they wanted to create something as close as Sanity as a whole, because let's remember, Sanity has Nikki Cross. Hell, if we want to fantasy book it, why not bring in Mercedes Martinez, like you said last week?
Oof. Well, that caused some controversy in the nightly.
That would.
When I said that.
Well, I don't really mind that, because hell, if controversy actually came true and Mercedes Martinez is actually signed, that would really blow the shit off the roof for a lot of people. Because again, if we wanted to pull out who's being signed and who's not being signed, we did have a rumor that Shayna Baszler has been signed. So they are going to go ahead with the 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen. So in a sense, they might just take in Mercedes Martinez as well. Because let's remember, she is one of the 4 that appeared in the Mae Young Classic finale. So there's that. And it's fantasy booking, and it's fantasy booking on the top of my head. I mean, Taker has been pretty detailed in his assessment. Why not slot in Mercedes Martinez debuting in TakeOver Houston, joining the Undisputed era, the Undisputed, whichever, and actually putting a statement of intent. They are not here, a statement of intent to the rest of the NXT division. They are not here to be the sideshow, to be the to be forgotten or to be left behind, or they're just coming in here just to make a buck or two. They're trying to make a statement, and they're trying to take over, just like that. I mean, it's a repetitive. I think it's a NWO-esque way, because we have to remind ourselves that all 3 of these guys, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole, hasn't really made this statement clear. So with the addition of a woman wrestler inside their ranks, probably they could secure a bigger statement of intent, in my opinion. So there's that. And also, one of the suggestions from one of the members of the Daily, or was it the Nightly? I can't remember. I can't remember which one, but it was saying that what if Tommaso Ciampa was the one who's actually instigating all this? What if Tommaso Ciampa was the one who's doing all this, doing all the planning to bring in Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly? It brings up a good question, but to me, I think that I should agree with someone who said that Tommaso Ciampa has been portrayed in NXT as a lone wolf. He has always been portrayed as a Sicilian psychopath who works alone, who doesn't really team up with anyone else aside from, say, Johnny Gargano. So there's that. This is one way. But the story is that this is one way of Tommaso Ciampa being proving to Johnny Gargano that he can do this much better without him, and shows the result of him creating the Undisputed Era and bringing in Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, to an extent Mercedes Martinez. Who knows? But like I said,
I could see that and make him like, and instead of calling it the Undisputed Era, they change it to like as a homage to Bobby, they call it the family.
Yeah.
And Tommaso Ciampa is like the godfather of the family.
Yes. I mean, But here's the thing. Like I said, I don't disagree with the idea. Just that I see Tommaso Ciampa's character as being the lone wolf. He's always works alone. He's a psychopath. Number two, and he doesn't team up well with people. Aside from say Johnny Gargano, like I said, that's the only issue. Would Tommaso Ciampa kind of like step back a little bit and play with others well enough to actually, yeah, it's possible, but I don't really, to me personally, I don't see it coming to it as of yet. Like I said, there's a lot of questions coming in, but a lot of questions that hopefully will be answered in the coming weeks of the coming weeks of NXT book programming.
And mind you too, these tapings were done shortly after was it Maria?
Oh, okay. Hurricane Maria hitting Puerto Rico.
Maria was hitting Florida.
Oh.
They were done. They delayed their taping by a day, but they went in a day late and did the tapings and said, and Triple H made a point of saying that despite what happened, they had to do this. They had to provide a happy time and a fun time for folks.
Okay. I see.
Because of what happened, during the hurricane.
Yeah. And on that note as well, I think I could see why the baby faces were booked to beat up the heels.
Right.
To send the crowd happy on a happy note, which is again old school booking 101. Yeah.
Exactly.
For house shows.
Speaking of old school booking, you and I had this conversation this morning.
Okay.
I myself have been finding old matches on YouTube and other places, watching Japanese wrestling, and I am beginning to get hooked. I can't tell you the names of some of the people. I remember a few names, but like I mentioned earlier, where else in the world can a promotion get a stuffed cat over?
Hey, and JPW has your answer to that.
Right. New Japan Pro could do it.
Yep.
And you made a point, and you mentioned something to me that a lot of their influence is from Memphis style wrestling. And when you said it to me, it clicked in my head. Old school.
Yeah.
They book more old school. Now, if only the WWE could take a page out of their book, good God. They'd print money. They wouldn't have to cut anything back. They would print money. Vince, if you're listening.
I mean, okay. To add to that point, I mean, okay. Number one, WWE is again a publicly traded company. They have higher ups to please. Number two, they are a business. They are a business designed to create money, create profit, of course. And yet they don't see that this is another way of them going forth with, say, printing more money, which is going with an old school style of booking. And like I said, like I said earlier in the morning, on your end, the booking in Japanese wrestling is a lot more old school than you thought it would be. Because, well, let's face it, even if some of the wrestling promotions here are booking in a little bit more into getting a lot more influence in the Western style of wrestling. NJPW still sticks to a little bit of the old school because of the booking, and the booker himself, Ghetto, is a fan of Memphis style wrestling back in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, like I told you earlier. I realized that Ghetto did time in Memphis, wrestled against Jerry Lawler.
He did.
And that's when Jerry Lawler was the booker, and they put on some hellacious matches. Those two.
They did.
And I can see, and I'm almost certain, almost certain, I'm not saying I'm 100% certain, but Ghetto and Jerry Lawler talk quite frequently about how to book certain talent over there.
Yeah, I can't say for certain as well, but yeah, because they worked together back then in Memphis, they should have talked about it. I mean, yeah, they
I wouldn't
could.
be the least bit surprised that if Hiromu Takahashi
Mhm,
and Daryl Takahashi, the damn stuffed cat, was an
mhm.
idea of Jerry Lawler's in the first damn place.
It would be. It would be. It won't be a surprising fact if that happens, but I think Hiromu Takahashi and the stuffed cat is kind of like original to Ghetto's idea. But Ghetto can be influenced with that because he loves Memphis wrestling. He loves Memphis style based wrestling
Yes,
back then, and his influence shows even in the current iteration of the NJPW because he cares about the individuals and the characters of these individuals. Even though they're as a group, you know their characters, you know where they start from, you know from where they originate, how they got there, how they got to where they are now. And that's important for old school based wrestling because you know that these guys are characters, but they're compelling characters.
very much so.
Back in WWE, you have characters, but you have characters slotted into these kind of positions. You rarely see characters standing out in the machine that is WWE Corporation, churning out wrestlers with these kind of things, with these kind of gimmicks, with these kind of images, but not characters.
Now, I have one question for you, though.
Mhm.
When we were talking prior to coming into the live meeting, you mentioned something about basically they answered the whole 5W1H set of questions. What the hell is that?
Okay. Okay. I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, I think I said this back a month or two ago about difference between Japanese wrestling and Western wrestling, stateside wrestling, or that as a whole. Uh, there is in Japanese wrestling, you literally start from the ground up because you have your classes, you have your junior heavyweight, and then you have the IWGP, and then you have the heavyweights. You can't go, you can't move up to the heavyweights until you have earned enough experience and enough of a audience's attention to push yourself up from the juniors to the seniors, basically. So basically, you're gonna ask the character, is the character answering these kind of questions? Who is he? He's so and so and so. Why is he here? What's his motive of being here? He'll answer that too. Not really by speaking, but just by wrestling moves and pulling off great matches, and
Which
then
is
probably in
answering that by performance.
yes, entering that by performance, and occasionally with post match interviews or pre match interviews, even going into the matchup because
Okay.
these guys, it's kind of like you set up a boxing match. Your pre match press where these two contenders are basically getting interviewed and getting questions answered. You're getting all that question answered: who, what, where, why, and how. How are you going to defeat this guy? How are you going to go move up from the juniors to the seniors? How are you going to entertain your audiences? What do you bring to the table? And
Okay. So I get it as to who, what, where, when, why, and
why
how.
and how. There you go.
Okay. That makes sense to me. I didn't understand that phraseology.
Okay.
Now I
5W
understand.
one H. Yes.
Now you've clarified it for me and for everybody else out there that's listening today.
Yeah. And if you go see WWE current on in its current iteration right now,
They don't
you don't
answer those
really
questions. They don't do that.
they don't do that, and they don't really do that as much as they should have. Back then, during the Attitude Era, yes, they actually did answer a few of those questions. A lot of the questions, actually. Who's he? Stone Cold Steve Austin. What's he like? He's the badass redneck who drinks beer and kicks ass. How is he gonna defeat his opponents? By just stomping him at hole? Uh, doesn't care about the authority. Just do his shit and just keep on drinking beer.
Right.
Simple. He's answering the questions of what a compelling character should have done. Basic 5W1H: who, what, where, and why, and how. Right now, you can't really make a compelling case as to the answer. Who's he? Roman Reigns. What's he like? He's a badass. He's the guy. Anything else? That's
Right.
it.
Why is he weird? Why is he,
Why is he a badass? Why is he the guy? You can't answer that.
why is he the guy? He retired Undertaker, quote unquote.
That's it. I mean, that's it.
No.
Okay. And then,
Speaking of Roman Reigns,
yes.
nice segue into Raw,
Okay.
which I have to give them kudos for what they did about Bobby.
Okay.
As did NXT. They put up a in memory of graphic at the very beginning of their show. So
Yes.
which is a nice touch.
Mhm.
Raw did their in memory of, and then about halfway through the show, they did the video tribute, which brought tears to my eyes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the only one.
Rest in peace, Brain. You will be missed.
Yes, he will be missed. There's
And
a
I
giant
suppose
void, and anyone who says Paul Heyman is better needs to be shot. Paul Heyman is a cheap knockoff of Bobby Heenan. I'm sorry.
I think Paul Heyman would agree that he's been influenced by Bobby Heenan.
Yes, he
Even
will.
if he doesn't want to admit it on live or on air, I think a little bit of Bobby Heenan is in Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman, if you're listening or you ever listen to this, yeah, get in
And
contact with us. We'll love to hear your opinions on Bobby.
Anyway, let's okay. Where do you want to start off on Raw? Considering the fact that we just segued in nicely to here.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Where do you want to start off with Raw? The very surprising, very surprising Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar via satellite feed.
Oh yeah, they were in the same building together, separated, probably separated by
satellite feed.
Yeah, satellite feed by ass. They were there. We all know this.
Of course, we all know that. But okay, other than that, I think the promo was fine.
It was.
Promo was excellent. Cocky, arrogant monster challenger, talks a big game, vows to dethrone the champion, Brock Lesnar, of course. All the while, I think you see Brock Lesnar getting fired up. This is the first time you see Brock Lesnar getting fired up.
Yeah, because that leads to Enzo getting his ass destroyed.
Yep, that actually leads to Braun Strowman actually
venting some of his frustration with the interview with Brock on poor little tiny Enzo Amore. And in one sense, I actually felt bad for that little shit, but
yeah,
I mean, God Almighty, he's outweighed. I mean, Roman weighs twice as much as him.
Strowman weighs, I think, what, 385?
385, and Enzo's what, 192 or something like that.
Oh, he's losing weight now from 205 to 192.
Yeah, or about that. I felt bad for him.
Yeah,
I really did.
I know. I mean, here's the thing. It's like what we had. One of the discussion that we had. How do you manage to turn an A+ excellent segment into something that is why would Strowman even bother running over Amore?
Really, that's what I couldn't figure out. What was the reasoning behind it?
Yeah, like you said, it made me. Like you said, it kind of like it kind of like made for a jarring question. It made me care about Enzo Amore in a sense. I mean, come on, he's just small. Why do you want to send a big guy out to whip his ass and then just drag him?
Unless that's still part of the heat that he has in the locker room.
I think at this point it's just that I think it's like that, but I don't want to think of it that way because my goodness, Enzo looked terrible when he was being beaten up and got his carcass dragged away by the monster of a man, Braun Strowman. The sweetest part of it all, Neville coming out and then laughing at Amore's carcass.
After he hit the Red Arrow.
Yep. That was fine, but why? I think this segment of a show could have been cut off entirely. You already made your point with Braun Strowman challenging Brock Lesnar. That was an excellent promo.
Yes, it was. Why
Enzo,
cheapen it? Why cheapen it with the Enzo shit?
Yeah, why cheapen it with the Enzo shit? It's a little bit too much, in my opinion, on this one. So there's that. And then, of course, yes, afterwards we have Neville, the king of the cruiserweights, fighting against Grand Metalik. Again, this is getting cheapened. This is, again, another cheapened way. Like I said back then when we were running into Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling, the cruiserweight division is getting to a point where no one actually can conceivably beat Neville. Because anyone who's been put in front of Neville, Neville defeats, Neville conquers, Neville's still the king. Yay. Especially on Raw. And especially after...
It's getting stale.
It's getting stale on Raw. Keep it to 205 Live because it could have been excellent in 205 Live, I believe, in my opinion, anyways. Because keep the cruiserweights in 205 Live. Let them, because putting them here on Raw is kind of like putting it on a side as a sideshow.
Exactly, and that's what's making 205 suffer.
Yeah, I mean, considering the
have wrestlers from 205 Live cut promos about their matches coming up on Tuesday night after Raw or after SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I mean,
or coming into the pay-per-view, have them cut their promos.
Yes.
Granted, 205 Live is connected to Raw, which I don't understand when they're on after SmackDown.
Yeah, but okay, fine. If they wanted to do that sort of connection, fine. But yeah, you could use this time with Neville showing off his prominence, showing off his prowess by probably promoting matches, promoting rivalries, backstage promos, those kind of things. It could have been better, especially with what we have gotten with Neville and Amore in 205 Live, which we will talk about later. That one was wow.
Didn't see it, but I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah,
I missed it this week. I don't catch 205 Live much. You know that.
Yes, I know.
But I got like 7 to 8 hours of shit to watch as it is.
To me, I think you should go and watch the promo between Enzo Amore and Neville. And
how come I get the feeling Enzo basically chopped Neville to shreds?
Oh no, not exactly. These two. Okay, since we're going to go on a segue to 205 Live, okay. These two, my God. If you weren't sold off on their match at the next pay-per-view, you'd definitely be sold off on the match between Amore and Neville with this promo. That promo was on fire, my God. Sure, and here's one nice touch. Amore came out with his shoulder wrapped up to sell off the attack he got from Braun Strowman in Raw. And Neville did make sure to kind of like play it off because, again, he pointed out to the injury. Why would you want to come? Why would you come back here considering that you have been beaten up by a monster of a man, which is Braun Strowman? And then Amore comes out with fire in his belly, accusing Neville of being jealous of him. And of course, the man that gravity forgot, the king of the cruiserweights, found this idea hilarious because he's the champion. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. This was one of the points where I've seen him kind of like mail it in. This is actually the most focused I've seen Enzo Amore been. Outside of his rivalry with Big Cass and all that, this is the most focused. This is where we see Amore literally lit his ass on fire and delivered it onto the main screen with the promos. Not to knock on Neville.
I guess I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, not a knock on Neville because Neville delivered as well, being the snide heel that he is, touching up on Enzo's injury, Enzo's shoulder injury, and all that. And even going a little bit of a blurred line between work and shoot, where where Neville was pointing out to the stuff that's happening backstage with Enzo and how he was basically hated backstage. So they were playing it out, selling it on No Mercy, of course. But in the end, Amore delivered the last laugh with a low blow to Neville's nuts. Even after Neville dared him to say, "Are you gonna kick me in the nuts? This isn't. Are you gonna kick me in the nuts now? Because that is so a passe move." What he said, but Enzo's line after before he kicked it was beautiful. Yes, I know it's a cheap shot, but this ain't No Mercy, and this ain't no match, and kicked him below the belt. I mean, it ended up being much more entertaining than expected, and it made me look forward to the match. What would happen? Sure, I think Neville will whip his ass and end the match in 5 minutes. Who knows? But
So the question is it pre-show or main show?
Main show.
You think?
Main show, my friend.
You think?
I think so.
Because the cruiserweights can't seem to get out the pre-show.
Yeah. I think this is the straw that can break that camel's back, I think. Because
it's possible.
Like I said, it's possible. I mean, I could discuss it at length with people. This could be the money match that brings eyeballs to the 205 Live and the cruiserweights division as a whole. Sure, Enzo's introduction to the 205 Live kind of like puts the other superstars at the back end of the spectrum. But if it brings, like I said back in Fizzy's show, if it brings eyeballs to products, then it's not a bad thing after all. You deal with the aftermath of slipping in someone like Enzo into the 205 Live later, because because they already had TJP and Rich Swann having a rivalry, and even so, that's a good enough story. Of course, from frenemies to friend enemies, that's another way. And this is another heel TJP we needed since he turned, rather than the heel TJP that we saw conniving with Neville. I mean, my goodness, yeah. And I was shocked when TJP pulled out one of Swann's braid. I mean, it brought me a question because did TJP really pull out one of his hair? If he did, that had got to hurt. I mean, my God. And the only nitpick that I would have with TJP and Swann is considering that he's already changed into heel, can we just get another theme song for him just to show that he's now a heel rather than the techno EDM gaming 16-bit song that he has now?
Oh, please, yeah.
Yeah, not a knock because I'm a gaming nerd.
That is so dead. In my opinion, that is so dead. It doesn't fit him as a heel at all. Yeah.
If he comes out as I mean, if he comes out with that song, please don't. Please don't.
I mean, all right, let's get back to Raw. The women's match. And the return of Bayley. Which now makes the No Mercy pay-per-view women's match a fatal 5-way.
Triple
I know. Another fuck the fans match.
Yep.
I haven't said that in a while.
Just in case you didn't know, Taker.
What's that?
Emma is now in the shit can.
Yep. But Emma's supposed to be Asuka's first feud. But the question is, who is going to eat the pin?
Now, do you want? Now
I think Nia goes over and pins Alexa. To be perfectly honest with you.
Okay. I mean, okay, sure. Number one, the show did take place in Bayley's hometown in San Jose.
So what?
Yeah, but understand, and also, like I said, and again, before I was
blown opportunity for WWE to see her turn heel in her hometown.
Number one, and number two, you did notice that she was kind of like baiting it in until she hugged Sasha.
Yeah.
I mean, I was waiting for, okay, you introduce Bailey. Okay, she's not looking as bubbly. She looks kind of aggressive. She wants to throw down. She wants to catch hands. Okay. Where's the heel turn?
Yeah, no shit. It was right there. Again.
Where's the heel
opportunity, Vince?
I mean, okay, understandably. The match was okay by any stretch of the imagination. Jax looks strong. Bliss looks like the underdog for once.
Bliss looks scared.
Yep. Bliss looks like a scared underdog. This is not happening to her. And
I just don't see how she can win.
With the introduction of Bailey inside the 4-way now turned into a 5-way, how the hell is Bailey going to retain?
You mean Alexa?
Oh, sorry. How the hell is Bliss going to retain?
I have no clue.
Because first off, we thought that it was a fatal 4-way. Number one. WWE is booking it into a fatal 4-way. Number two.
Which I could accept.
Yes. Which we all could accept now that we come to terms with it. And we're already saying that, okay, probably they could sacrifice Emma to take the pin, or probably it's on a rare occasion that Alexa Bliss takes the pin, loses clean, and gives the title off to probably Nia Jax, or probably even Sasha Banks for that matter. Who knows? But now, with the introduction of Bailey, you just mucked up the shit, boy.
Yeah, it's all screwed up, and they went to a week before. Please, no build, nothing. What the hell? What the hell is in it for Bailey right now? Nothing.
The only reasoning I could see is that okay, it's her hometown of San Jose. What for? Never mind. And WWE is just eager to push her off until after the injury. Now I could even see that is her injury a work or a shoot?
Who knows?
I mean, no one survives unless Bailey has John Cena-esque healing powers. Unless Bailey has that John Cena-esque healing powers, and to an extent, she was booked to be the female John Cena back in NXT.
True.
Why? You just want family friends to cheer her and have a nice moment, hometown, yay! But could she have not been utilized in a sense to build heat for Emma? Hello.
I mean, the best thing they could have done with her is when they did the hug with Sasha, Bailey to belly, boom.
Yeah. Yes. Or just deck Sasha in the face with a swing of the hand before she goes in for the hug. Just deck it. Just go apeshit. But no, you're gonna keep Bailey face. Oh no. You're gonna keep Bailey face. You're gonna keep her as a face. You're gonna keep Sasha as a face. Even when Sasha and Bailey team up to take out Alexa Bliss after the trio of them took out Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, Bailey is selling that heel turn, supposed alleged heel turn by swinging the hand before she goes into a hug. Even Alexa Bliss was selling that off. She was surprised with the hug.
Yeah, I mean,
and was smiling at that too, before the uneventful dump by the two. So
I mean, this is just WWE. Get your head out of your ass.
They're not gonna get their head out of their ass. They're gonna stay in their ass and stir the shit out of this, making the 4-way into a fatal 5-way. I'm getting a headache.
They need an abdominal plexotomy.
The only positive,
which means I don't know if you understand what that means. Which means they need a piece of plexiglass attached to the front of them so they can see from their head being so shoved so far up their ass.
Please don't. Why are they getting headache? The only positives that I could see is that okay, Bailey is back aside. Alexa Bliss looks genuinely scared now. And Nia Jax looks definitely strong. She's the most compelling out of the 5. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, Emma can't eat the pin because she's got to look strong for Asuka.
Yeah, which leaves
that's the rumored first feud.
Yeah, that's the rumored first feud anyway. So that means we're only left with Bailey, Sasha, Alexa.
Yep.
Yeah, you only have Bailey, Sasha, or Alexa eating the pin now. Who do you want to take? To me, I think just
I
as
have
a,
a feeling it's going to be Sasha.
I have a feeling it's gonna be Bailey, just to put her into the Bailey files again.
And then, yeah, that might be the straw that turns her heel finally.
Finally, after 2 months. Oh dear Lord.
That moves us on to the final promo from Roman Reigns,
Oh,
which was a masterpiece.
okay. Continue.
In my opinion, it was a masterpiece.
Okay.
Him, Roman saying that John Cena talks stupid shit was beautiful.
Mhm.
Even though it was censored out, everybody, the live crowd heard it.
Mhm.
Everybody else on TV didn't, but we knew what was being said. Everybody did. And then him bringing out the promo that he cut on The Rock.
Yeah.
Was absolutely brilliant.
Mhm.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Because what is John Cena doing now that he complained about what The Rock was doing? He's doing the same thing.
Yep, he did.
And that is brilliant. That is brilliant. A brilliant piece of promo work.
Mhm.
Dusty would be proud because that is something Dusty would key on.
Yep, he would. A pity that this happened right as John Cena went missing to go shoot his movie. But the dig that Roman Reigns played was great.
Actually got a positive pop out of the crowd.
Yes, it was great. It doesn't really cement Reigns coming into No Mercy as a heel per se,
No,
because
he's been a tweener for a while.
yes, because he's just hinting, he's just flirting with the fact that he may be heel, but he's not. He's not actually a heel. He's just he's just a guy who just says what he needs to say and just throws down when he needs to throw down. That's him. Some people might disregard this as seeing a little bit forced because this should have been brought up about 3 weeks ago when John Cena and Roman Reigns first bumped heads, throw down the promo.
But I still say the timing was perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's the week before the show and John Cena is not around.
Mm-hmm. Because now all John Cena has to do is prove to himself in No Mercy because he doesn't have the time to respond to the critic or respond to the promo that Roman Reigns has shot for him. So there's that. So even if some would also say that even if there's very real contempt between these two people, it hasn't been portrayed effectively, which I disagree because I think that it has been portrayed effectively. Sure, the first week was kind of forced. It looks like it's kind of scripted, but bit by bit, slowly and slowly, John Cena and Roman Reigns are actually delivering compelling promos. We don't know. Yeah, we do know that these two would throw down to a heck of a barn burner of an event of a match. We do know that. It's just that like I said last week. These two guys earlier on, these two guys are doing what two frat boys are doing, which is comparing dick sizes with one another.
Right, we talked about that, on when we did the run-in. That's where it really came out. Yeah, this water's really cold. Yeah, and it's deep too.
I mean, okay, sure, it may sound like it is, but this is the most compelling that we can get out of Roman Reigns, and it is excellent. No matter what people say about it feeling forced or it feeling like this is just the best that we can get out of scripted Roman Reigns. No, this is not scripted Roman Reigns. This is perfect Roman Reigns.
This was Roman Reigns being Roman Reigns.
Mm.
I think he's finally got it. And I think, maybe John Cena helped him out. And you know what?
Yeah.
Good on John. I'll give John credit where credit is due. He has a reputation of, in the internet community as someone who buries a lot of talent. And that is something that Roman Reigns keyed on early on. And then he keyed on the lack of, what's the word I'm looking for? The lack of him being around the last 18 months.
Basically, you can say that it's like this. Roman Reigns is doing the promo to John Cena what John Cena is doing to the promo with The Rock.
Exactly.
Basically speaking. But the difference being is that Roman Reigns is doing it his way.
Right, and it's working.
Yes.
Because, I mean, he got a hell of a pop when he brought that up.
Yes. John Cena, when he delivers that promo, he sounds like a character.
And when Roman Reigns delivered it, he sounded real.
Yes, exactly. Because this is the difference between, this is what the match is, being the difference between John Cena and Roman Reigns. John Cena is a character. Roman Reigns is a person. And that makes for one heck of a compelling question.
Yep.
Coming into No Mercy. Who's going to win? The character John Cena that everyone is trying to replace but hasn't replaced in the past 15 years now? Or the character, or the man, the guy, Roman Reigns, who does things on his own terms, who does throw down with the best of people, and yet still comes up looking better for it. So yeah, like that, you move on to the continuation of the story that finally gets his meat, Dustin Rhodes versus Bray Wyatt.
Yes, Dustin Rhodes. Not Goldust, but Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah. Surprisingly, Goldust comes out billed as Dustin Rhodes. That is one surprising move by both Dustin Rhodes and creative for that matter. But wow. The match itself was serviceable at best, but it was good considering the fact that Dustin was pretty much a veteran. How old is he now? 40 plus, 50 plus years now, I think, for him.
40 plus.
40 plus years for him now, I think.
Rhodes
unloaded on.
Just a second while I Google that.
While he does that, Rhodes unloaded on his opponent earlier on, catching him with a big clothesline. But then again, Wyatt recovered back again from the onslaught and delivered Sister Abigail to win.
Jesus Christ, he's 48 years old.
Oh my goodness. So he's close to 50. So there's that.
Yeah. He's the same age as my sister.
Ah, okay. Interesting. But I think the biggest peak of this matchup, the matchup was solid. The biggest pop would be Finn Balor appearing, telling a story of a little boy who read of gods and monsters, yada yada yada. Quite possibly the same thing that we've heard when he was feuding with Seth Rollins back then. A little bit. A little bit.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll agree with that. 100%.
Yeah. Because some say it was a waste of a segment, and Balor elevated what was otherwise a waste of a segment. But to me, I think the match was solid. Dustin Rhodes wanted to prove that he wasn't really Goldust. The face paint of Goldust isn't just the face paint of Goldust. Goldust is a person, and the person behind it is Dustin Rhodes. He came up short, but then again, Finn Balor appeared on camera, again, repeating the story that he has with Seth Rollins back then, with a slight bit of tweak, where he warned Bray Wyatt is that if the demon is the creation of the man, then the man is clearly more dangerous. Basically saying that if I were to create the Demon King persona, that means I'm far more dangerous as a person.
Very much so.
Yes, which actually is quite compelling. It is actually quite compelling and quite interesting.
But we also saw in that match a move that has not been used in quite a while by Dustin Rhodes, aka Goldust. The Shattered Dreams move.
Oh yes, we have finally seen Goldust throw down and actually pull off his finishing maneuver, Shattered Dreams, which Bray Wyatt recovered.
which was
He
odd.
recovered quickly. Well, yeah, he recovered quickly, which was odd. Fine. Quickly delivering Sister Abigail for the win. Okay. Like I said, the match was okay. Some people say it was just a waste of space as well, but to me,
I would
think
agree.
the match was
The match was okay, but it still wasted time.
Yeah, it was, but to me, I think it delivered.
Because we all knew Bray was going to win.
Yeah, because again, obviously Bray needs to look strong before coming in. Even though I think in Reverse Momentum Fury, because he got the win here, that would mean Finn Balor would win in No Mercy.
I would think so.
Yeah, because Reverse Momentum Theory, he got the win here, even though Balor didn't really do anything. So there's that.
Yeah.
But the compelling stuff is that they're adding a lot more to this story. And again, I am so disappointed that this hasn't happened 3 weeks before or even before SummerSlam. That part made it a little bit bittersweet for me because they're finally using the story. They're only using it too late for me.
Yep. That would have been the perfect match going into SummerSlam.
Yeah.
The man versus the man.
Yeah, the man versus the man that he cannot defeat Bray Wyatt, that he has to force out the Demon King persona.
Yeah, they used it too early, like we said.
They used it very too early.
Then anything else? We got anything else really on Laura that kind of caught our attention?
6-pack challenge for the #1 contender match. Who was surprised that Jason Jordan is gonna win to become the #1 contender?
Not me. Only to be fed to the Miz.
Oh boy. Jason Jordan, yes, folks, you've heard it. Jason Jordan defeated Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Elias, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas to become the #1 contender to face.
I don't even remember who the hell he pinned.
He pinned. Let me remember. Wars were known. He. Okay. Jason Jordan pinned Curtis Axel.
Now that makes sense. So that match was so compelling, we can't even remember who the hell he won, who the hell he pinned, without referring to notes. That's sad. That is sad. And you know what?
It took me about 1 minute or two. Actually.
And the thing that's sad is like they only had 6 minutes.
6 minutes, a little bit. Because here's the thing, like you said, the match was forgettable. It was nondescript. Because let's face it,
same old BS.
Yeah, same old BS, of course. Let's face it, the first half was always quick pins. That's it. Because probably, and it definitely kind of looks like Jeff had injured his shoulder at one point.
That's possible.
Which could lead to the kind of rushed feel of it. So it could be possible, and which also leads to Jason Jordan winning the #1 contendership for facing the Miz, and that is when Miz comes into play. I mean, my goodness. Say whatever you want to say about the character, Taker. But you have to say that leave it to the Miz to elevate the quality of this show, this segment.
Well, yeah.
A little bit. He salvaged this. He salvaged the whole segment. He salvaged the ending of the match. Makes it a little bit compelling. And even added a little bit of kayfabe storyline with vowing to remain the Intercontinental Champion. Promised that Kurt Angle will remain a terrible father. And finished it off when you will still be a bastard.
Yeah.
Heelish.
I'll give credit, but the thing about it is that all my feelings on that little bastard.
I mean, okay.
A reality TV star who his shtick reminds me of kids when I was in high school. So I despise the character. I respect the man.
Yes. Okay.
And it's along the same lines. And for those of you that don't know, I'm a NASCAR fan. I never did like Dale Earnhardt Sr. as a racer. As a man, I respected him.
Mm-hmm.
There's that.
Yes.
He falls in that same category.
Okay. I mean, you can't really blame him, but the body of work he has here on that segment alone was pretty much okay. Because he saved it. He saved what could have been a C segment to a B segment. So there's that.
Yeah.
But the biggest question I have is, who would you book to win? Do you want to see The Miz lose the title? Of course you would.
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Is Jason Jordan ready? No.
Yeah. There you go. That's a question. Is Jason Jordan ready to take on the mantle of being the Intercontinental Championship?
I don't think so.
Of course not. Of course not, because he's still quite young in terms of main roster time. He's still quite young, and to me, I think coming in and coming out of it, Miz would still be champion. Racks up the days. Unfortunately, Taker, he's still racking up the days, and I'll still offer the drool bucket as puke bucket when he goes to number 1.
It better be a 5-gallon one.
Okay. I'll see what I can do, sir, because I also will have to endure the torrential laughs of Don Sal Kuzmano as he laughs that all the way to the bank.
Oh yeah. And Don Sal, we love you, but your allegiance to the Miz is what's the word I'm looking for? Misguided.
Yeah. How do I forget another one of the high spots? Bar versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Forgotten about that one. Good Brothers versus the Bar versus Ambrose.
Yep, and the thing about it is that the Good Brothers ate the pin yet again.
So sad. So sad. Seriously.
You know, there's a team that was there's a tag team in the Good Brothers that were big over in Japan. Which leads us back to what we were talking about earlier.
How they were booked, basically.
Yeah. WWE, yes, I know you're publicly traded and you got a board and you got stockholders and all that shit to please, but God damn it. If you would only book tag teams that come over from Japan as they should be. I mean, Jesus Christ. Good Brothers, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, the original Bullet Club.
Uh-huh.
The only one that's getting any decent booking in this is throughout WWE is AJ Styles.
Yep. And considering that all these 4 have been booked heavily by the NJPW and has been regarded highly by the talents, I mean, God, talk about a team whose smoldering carcass of a career should be swept into the Bailey files. These 2 are one of them.
Yeah,
these 2 are one of them. I mean, sure, the effort from all three tag teams were very strong. It was hard hitting, fast paced, but just that the only complaint for me coming off from your WWE's usage of Anderson and Gallows. It's just disappointing.
Very.
It's very disappointing. And if you notice, these guys are actually getting reactions. With Anderson and Gallows are getting reactions by the crowd.
They're getting face reactions.
Yes.
And they're supposed to be a heel team, but they're getting face pops. Go figure.
Yes.
Because of the shitty, and the reason they're getting the face pops is because of the shitty goddamn booking. Fans are starting to feel sorry for them.
Yeah. And sure, of course, Sheamus and Cesaro going over isn't really...
Which basically tells me that they're going to lose.
Yeah. Reverse momentum theory. Yes. Reverse momentum theory plays into effect again. So there's that. I mean,
as usual.
But again, there's another recent booking trends that it shouldn't be the case, considering that Usos and the New Day have been hot potatoing their title to a wonderful match. Not to knock on those two, but just that still feels entirely too early to take the titles off from both Rollins and Ambrose. So
there's that.
Anyway, overall, I think in comparison to both SmackDown and Raw, Raw kind of stumbled a little bit. It's still a solid show. It's just that there's something missing. There's a few.
In my opinion, the Raw show from last Monday was a piss poor go home show.
Yeah. In regards to a go home show, it sucks.
Yeah.
In regards to a show overall for a week, I think it's fine. It's just that it stumbled somewhere in trying to promote.
Somewhere?
Yeah.
Somewhere. It stumbled everywhere.
Or it's
Which
just
moves us along. I'm not even going to, this last week Raw was serviceable, in my opinion.
Yeah. In comparison to SmackDown, which was
rather good.
Yeah. They're
with
picking
one
up.
exception. The
Okay.
800-pound gorilla in the room.
Sure. Call it out.
Jinder Mahal's promo about the match. And I'm sorry, I have made, and I'm going to state this publicly. When I first talked to you and you told me where you were from, I immediately thought that you had the same accent as, and no offense.
As a local Japanese speaking English.
Yes. They have a very thick accent.
Yeah.
And Jinder Mahal making the Mr. Miyagi reference, to Pat Morita, God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. Love that, man.
And then making fun of the, it looked the same to me.
Oh,
that they were in Oakland. Okay, San Francisco Bay Area, Oakland, San Francisco. There is a huge Asian community there. Why do you cut a promo like that in an area that is densely populated with Asians? I'm sorry, that's wrong. It went too far, and to have Corey Graves agreeing with Byron Saxton that had gone too far is rare. Which tells me even the announce team didn't know what was coming.
Yep.
And usually they do.
Yeah. It's either the fact that they know it's coming and this is how they were supposed to react, or that they didn't know. I'm leaning to the latter, is that they didn't know. And Corey Graves' reaction to it was genuine, purely genuine for that matter.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm not even Japanese, and I'm not even Japanese. I live here. I've been living here for the past 6, 7. I've been living here for the past long years already, probably for the rest of my life, I think. And I do, even though I do believe that yes, most of the Japanese folks that I know have a lot of self-deprecation. They have a good sense of humor. They like to make fun of themselves sometimes, in good taste. To me, I think it's fine. But on this case with Jinder Mahal's promo, it made me cringe. It made me genuinely cringe, and made me feel like I should stop watching and just watch something else, just to get this segment out of the way.
I considered that myself.
I mean, there is no. I'm gonna go on a tangent, on a small tangent.
Before you do, I was watching the SmackDown live because I woke up early enough to watch it.
Okay.
Up until that promo. At that point, a lot of you know, or some of you know, I'm a big time Chicago Cubs fan.
Okay.
I switched to the ball game after that. That's how disgusted I was. I was disgusted by that promo.
Yeah. To me, it made me cringe and made me want to watch something else. Because,
well, I did.
Yeah, to me, because again, small tangent. There's no place for shit like that. Comments
No.
that cross the border of racism. I mean, shit, Mahal, shit, Jinder Mahal. You were talking about how you were persecuted, how people are looking at you differently because you're a different race, and yet you're poking fun of someone else's race. I mean, come on.
I mean,
Sure.
I have teased you about that. Okay.
But it's in good taste. And number one,
I have, when I first heard you the very first time, I was like, oh, okay, he's not. Okay.
and yes, when you brought it up, can I be frank? Yes, can I be frank? And I said
Sure.
yes. You do not sound Japanese to me because I was thinking something else.
I'm not afraid to admit that. And,
and we got a good laugh out of it every
oh,
single
yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, you knew it was not, you knew I was not being offensive by it. You understood exactly where I was coming from.
Yes. This, man, please. This promo is not in good taste whatsoever. This promo was bad.
And especially with the racial tensions here in the United States as it is.
Yes. I don't know
Brilliant move, Vince. Brilliant fucking move.
I mean, what with the racial tensions on the States, what with people are still tense about the situation at hand, something like this doesn't really fit with the general state of affairs of the United States of America currently. And even the mainstream media are picking it up. Even newspapers are picking it up. As far as as far as I've heard, as far as I've read, picking it up, telling that this is in poor taste. If you've reached that point where even the mainstream media are telling you that this is in poor taste and this is shitty as hell, this is a bad move for all people involved. The only positive thing that comes out from this is that this segment did nothing but make me want to see Nakamura kick Mahal's ass.
No, if you look at the promo or the interview that Shinsuke had shortly afterwards,
yep,
he didn't say much.
Yes, he did.
He said, Jinder's a funny guy, but it's not going to be so funny when I beat him for the WWE title, and walked off.
To me, I could have made him say a little bit eloquently, he is a funny guy, but he won't be laughing when I kick his teeth out for the WWE champion and walk out.
That would have been perfect.
Yes.
But the big question is this. What stip is going to be used to keep the Singh brothers from getting involved? There's always that.
I can't really beat a dead horse again for saying this, considering that it is the gimmick match, but Hell in a Cell.
I don't know if they're in the cell or not.
If they book it in Hell in a Cell?
Well, you saw the Punjabi match where they wound up underneath the freaking ring. Who's to say they don't pull that same shtick off again?
True. But I would definitely want to see Nakamura and Mahal in a cage, just so that. And if there is interference, I just think that that's going to be a shitty line. And it further cemented the reign that is Jinder Mahal with the WWE champion, that his reign is average at best if he's using Singh brothers as a
crutch.
As a crutch, yes. There you go. Heelish way, correct. Heelish way, good. Value, out of the window.
What value?
Okay.
You know me, blunt as hell. What value? There is no value in the Singh brothers.
There you go. The only value that I see is that they come out to the ring. They come out to the ring wearing flamboyantly colored outfits, and they're good. They're actually good.
Oh, they're good. I would like to see them actually wrestle in a ring as a tag team.
Yes, we haven't really seen them wrestle as a tag team in the ring. That's there. They're being used by Jinder Mahal as crutches, and that's not a good thing.
Oh.
But like I said.
But let's go to the very beginning of the show. Now that we got that piece of shit.
800-pound.
800-pound piece of shit gorilla out of the room.
Yep. Let's just sweep it under the rug.
Where Shane comes out and cuts a beautiful promo.
Yep.
I mean, absolutely beautiful. And you can actually see the anger in his eyes. I see some shenanigans going on. And with what happened to Vince with his forehead getting busted open, leads me to believe that there's going to be color in that Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, of course.
Both Shane and Kevin Owens are both going to be bloody messes when it's all over.
Of course. Because like we said last week, this isn't just a normal wrestling match. This is
going to be a fight.
This is personal. This is two men. This is one unstable man against one who's looking for vengeance against his father. This is not going to be for his father. Sorry. This isn't going to be a standard wrestling match 1, 2, 3 pin. No, this is going to be a match. This is going to be a fight. This is going to be knockdown, drag, dirty ass fight. This is going to be. It's going to be psychological. It's going to be
a bigger fight than the Taker Shane match.
Yes, it's going to be a bigger fight because you notice the small nuances. Shane McMahon's music hits. He doesn't dance on the stage.
He came out serious.
He walks. He came out all business.
Yep.
His promo was short. His promo was sweet. There's no dancing. They're jumping around like an 8-year-old Mountain Dew.
And I don't think he's going to be doing that at No Mercy either.
No, this is serious, focused Shane McMahon.
Yep.
Because and like I said, I'm looking forward to watching this. And yes, I agree. This should definitely be more enhanced. This match should definitely be more enhanced with color. And I do believe that we will be seeing color.
It needs it. This is one match that absolutely screams for it.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't say anything about it. It's just short, sweet, straight to the point, serious tone all aside. This is going to be one match on Hell in a Cell that I would definitely want to see.
And it's not even going to probably be the main event.
Yeah, which is surprising in and all of itself. Speaking about people who should be carried to the main event, Rusev looked very strong in this one. That's one positive one. That's one very positive note, considering the fact that he intervened inside a Randy Orton versus Aiden English match.
Well, that match was concluded.
That one, yep, that match was concluded, and then suddenly Rusev comes in, bam, landed a kick.
Yeah, about 20 seconds in.
Yeah,
but now he can. But that's going to lead to something at Hell in a Cell. We already know that.
Yep. I mean, but the reaction that he has was so entertaining, so hilarious when Rusev hits the super kick on Orton, like as if he won the proverbial WWE title or something.
Exactly.
I mean, this shows that he has character. He has a means of bringing out a lot more characterization into his persona. WWE, please capitalize on that one. I was laughing my ass off when he was celebrated. Yay, I won. I kicked Randy Orton in the face.
I took his fangs out. I pulled his fangs out. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yep.
It was great.
Of course, again, Aiden English coming into the match singing a song that mocked Randy Orton. Yeah,
okay. We already knew that Aiden English was going to job at that point.
Yep. I mean, his theme song still sucks, though. I agree with Sal. His theme song still sucks. But at least Aiden English made it better by serenading the audience with singing. Just proves that he can sing. That's just about it.
That is true. Well, he's a trained actor, so.
Yeah. And then let's quickly, and then there's the match. Then there's United States Championship match between AJ
Which never
Styles and
happened.
Baron Corbin, which never happened because the AJ Styles addressed Kevin Owens' attack on Vince McMahon
And told him he doesn't realize what he's got himself into. Blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
And somewhat Styles can talk from experience, having wrestled Shane at WrestleMania.
Which was a good piece of storytelling, by the way.
And then when that was a great match back when at WrestleMania, it was a very good match. I was surprised. Better match than the one with Taker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, to be speaking. And yeah, it was good. It was also a good piece of storytelling for AJ Styles on that one to rehash back his match against Shingo Man. So there's that.
Yeah.
And then
But the main event of the evening, the Fatal 4-Way with Tamina, Becky Lynch, Naomi,
Charlotte.
and Charlotte Flair.
Yep. Wow,
All
we finally
stemming originally from the celebration of women that turned into a love fest for Natalia, and being called the crazy cat lady by Lana, which was epic.
wonderful. Actually wonderful.
Absolutely epic and wonderful. I loved it.
I mean, sure, I agree. There were probably better, less convoluted ways to accomplish the booking of the Fatal 4-Way for the main event. But hey, on a positive note on this segment, I'd say that they have done this perfectly to showcase the women of SmackDown.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, sure, considering the fact that this is kind of like a heelish move where Natalya did the celebration of women. And then all of a sudden, every single women wrestler hit the ring. First, you get Natalya, and then and then Charlotte comes in, and then Becky.
No. Charlotte was out there talking about her father.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry.
Then Natty comes out and interrupts Charlotte.
Okay, sorry, forgot.
And then Charlotte makes the challenge, and then Becky comes out.
Becky comes out calling Natalya craziest there is. That was sweet, actually.
Calling her crazy. And then
the craziest there is, the craziest there was,
and the craziest there ever will be. That was brilliant.
That was beautiful.
And then Naomi comes out and starts her spiel.
And then we have Tamina with Lana saying, "You are a crazy cat lady to Natty." That's good.
Brilliant.
Actually, that's brilliant. The most brilliant we've seen Lana being ever since she started off. Ever since she restarted off her work as a manager. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
But,
and surprisingly, Tamina ate the pin from the stiff kick to the face from Charlotte.
Yes. Big boot. Because Tamina was distracted a little bit. So there's that. But to me, I think the build-up was... This was another repeat case of the build-up was nice. The matchup was underwhelming. Just like back in Raw where Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar delivered a wonderful and excellent segment, even though it's on satellite, to Braun Strowman squishing Enzo Amore, which underwhelmed. This is kind of like a similar route, where you have the celebration of women, which was done wonderfully, up to the
picture revealing.
Yeah, rather picture revealing, and then it comes up to this rather. To me personally, I think it's rather rushed. The Fatal 4-Way feels a little bit rushed.
But I'll say this about the Fatal 4-Way: the right person won.
Yes,
it's time.
I have, like I said before we come out live, I had nothing to say to Charlotte getting the chance of winning the title back.
She's been there since April, and it's going to be October. 6 months. Granted, it was probably going to be sooner, but the thing with Rick happened and everything else. And Charlotte Flair, they were trying to make her a face, and it just wasn't quite working. And then the thing with Rick happened. And the promo she was cutting, I mean, that basically solidified her. She's got so much goodwill from the crowd right now. It was a perfect time to solidify her change as a face. It was perfect.
Yes.
And like you said, did you notice the edge on Becky's voice?
Yes.
And Becky's tones?
Yes.
Heel turn coming? Maybe.
Maybe. I would love to see that, considering the fact that now you cement, because now you cemented Charlotte as going in as the #1 contender, as the babyface of as the babyface of that match. I sure would love to see Lynch flip a heel turn.
What would be a great thing to have happen? Is that, you know, it's a throwback to the legacy match that Natty and Charlotte had in NXT, where Brett shows up in the corner of Natty, and Ric Flair shows up in the corner of Charlotte, and Charlotte goes over. You know,
whoa.
Charlotte goes over and gets the title.
Okay. Can I follow up on that one?
Sure.
What if Becky comes out to congratulate?
Oh yeah, that's a fantasy booking I saw yesterday.
What if
Becky comes out and congratulates her, but I'm going to throw a twist on it. The 4 horsewomen of MMA show up and beat those 2 down, and Carmella cashes in and wins.
Oh yeah, there you go. That ruins kind of like my own personal fantasy booking, where Becky turns heel on the exact time, because I completely forgot that we have that program where 4 horsewomen will have to face against 4 horsewomen. So there's that.
Yeah, I saw that in the Daily yesterday. I'm like, interesting.
Because they're still, interesting. Not mouth-watering, not enough to kind of make me drag my drool bucket back again, but it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting booking fantasy, so to speak. Because, again, we have to be realistic and say that WWE is trying to finalize or trying to get this team going with the 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsemen. So they can't possibly have the 4 horsewomen of wrestling have infighting against one another.
No.
Which again, as well, would eliminate the fact that at No Mercy, Bayley would come in, congratulate Sasha Banks on winning, and then Bayley to bellies Sasha with the win, solidifying.
Unless we see the 4 horsewomen show up there.
Yeah. What if the 4 horsewomen showed up on both No Mercy and Hell in a Cell?
Well, if it shows up at No Mercy, it would be unpredictable.
Yes.
If they show up at Hell in a Cell, it would be all too predictable.
Because here's the thing, because considering the fact that No Mercy's women's division title match has been a pot of shit right now with the Fatal 5-Way, what if the 4 horsewomen interrupting the proceedings makes it a little bit more clear? It gives Alexa Bliss a reason to retain the title. It gives Bayley and Sasha a lot more time to still be faces going in with the 4 horsewomen of NXT, or wrestling in particular.
Yeah.
It would answer a lot of the questions going in when the 4 horsewomen aren't there.
Yeah.
Because if we take them out, we have a muddle of a match with 5 women with no place to go, and we only have 3 people who we guess would win or eat the pin.
Right.
Because you
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's so many options out there right now. It's not even funny.
True. It's not even funny anymore. We have a lot of options with the women's division. It's not even funny. I mean, what with the return of Paige?
Going to SmackDown, rumor has it.
Yeah. What with the return of that? And who knows? Even if they don't slot in the 4 horsewomen interrupting at Hell in a Cell, they could slip in Paige interrupting in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, but the thing is that what is the reason for her being a heel? And, I've had this discussion with several people, both on the daily and the nightly, and I see Paige coming in as a heel solely based on the stink that's attached to her from ADR.
I don't think, to me personally, I don't think that ADR stink should devalue Paige's worth as a wrestler, in a sense.
Yeah,
just because she's now married to an asshole, which is.
I don't think she's married yet. I still think he's going through the proceedings. I don't know.
Okay.
But I call ADR El Perro de Grande, the big dog, because that's what.
Okay, El Perro de Grande. Considering the fact that she's engaged with him, doesn't really necessitate the fact that she needs to carry the stink of him to.
Well, with WWE. all the shit with the shoulder injury and the drug busts and the possible domestic violence and all this other shit that's going on. Mm-hmm. She's got such a bad stigma attached to her right now. Why don't they just turn her heel and she can embrace all that shit?
Yeah, exactly. That's one question. That's one big way of introducing her. Like so. Just that, right. You're trying to build goodwill back again with Paige. Just that, is it the right way to kind of like capitalize on her bad press? I mean, what with the let's list them all out. What with the suspension, allegations about WWE's attitude to her relationship, second suspension, the reveal about the cause of her second suspension, medical disputes, in-ring proposal, the kind of like questionable way of proposal, eventual surgery, distancing herself all of a sudden to WWE, stabbing incident, tattoos, sort of stuff, movies, hacks, more corporate harassment claims, Periscope videos, short-lived breakup, masked Impact Zone cameo. Remember that one?
Yeah.
And then airport incident, and then family drama and all that.
Yeah.
That's a long list, a shit list right there.
Well, we need to wrap this up, buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
we've been at it for a little over 2 hours, and
you know what? We have been clocking 2 hours, 2 hour shows for 3 times now, I think.
Consistently.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
Okay, they can find me on Twitter at BeckyGotBank666. Suddenly, I am coming in with a lot more followers than I was intentionally thinking that I should be having, which was not a bad thing. And yay, please follow me. I'm friendly. I can chat. Please. If I'm working, I would love to talk with you guys. So there's that. You can also find me on Cage Side Seats, on the nightly and on the daily. This week I was a little bit busy. I only made, like Taker said, I only made one appearance where we were celebrating the appearance of Ambrose Alley. So there's that. Where can they find you, TakersMinion?
They can find me on Twitter at Takers_Minion. Mm-hmm. They can also find me mainly in the nightly. A couple days a week I'm in the daily. Mm-hmm. I'm always available to talk. Follow me on Twitter. We got other shows that are sister shows to us here. One of them is Two Guys, One Sport.
Yep.
They are on tonight at 9 p.m.
Yes.
And currently running live right now, as I just got notification that Busy's Wacky World of Wrestling with Sal is on.
With Sal and 14 Fitzpatrick.
Yep, 14
we
Fitzpatrick.
Call this Friday. I always call this Friday the Freaky Friday, where we have 3 shows that were
I call it Podomania.
Yeah, that would be awesome, Podomania. And of course, we also have our affiliates, Rudo Radio for one, and Not Your Demographic.
Not Your Demographic.
Not Your Demographic has hit 100 episodes now. Congratulations to those guys. And we also have Keeping Up with the Kayfabe. Yes.
Right. And periodic Cage Side Speaks with the aforementioned 14 Fitzpatrick as the host, where he gets a panel together after each pay-per-view, in which you, MDS, are going to be a part of after No Mercy.
Hopefully so. If nothing else permits, I will be making an appearance at Cage Side Seats Cage Side Speaks after No Mercy. So there's that.
All right. This has been episode number 13, which we call Lucky 13, even though you had a microphone failure there for a few minutes.
It's just for a few minutes. Don't worry. I didn't really leave for about 5 or 10 minutes, unfortunately, like Sal did.
No, like Fizz did last week.
Yeah, like Fizz did last week, where Sal has to carry on the show for about, what, 10 minutes, I think? 10,
something 15? Like that, until I said, hey, you need help?
And he was so glad that...
we thank you for watching. We thank you for downloading us on iTunes and SoundCloud. And
as well
we
as
look forward to hearing from you guys with more ideas and your opinions of what we do here.
Yep. And shout out to Crazy Chris for the question. Yes.
About Lars Sullivan. Thank you, Chris. We needed something like that kind of changed things up and gave us a beautiful segue. And with that, we'll see you guys next Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Yep. Until then, ciao.
Bye-bye.